The Daily Telegraph, they write about the possible threat of sanctions threatening City's summer rebuild. Now, James, this is actually, I can see from looking at it now, this is your story in the Telegraph, so give us some more context to it.
Yeah, well, City have been planning a pretty substantial revamp of their squad this summer. Obviously, that process started last year with Erling Haaland and Julian Alvarez coming in. There are sort of some key players who form the nucleus of that side for a good few years now who are getting on, who are in their early 30s. I think there's also been a bit of concern from Guardiola this season that after so much success, there's a danger that the team might fall into something of a comfort zone. So that they are planning considerable sort of rebuilding works. They're very much in the frame for Jude Bellingham, obviously along with Real Madrid and Liverpool most notably. But the threat of potential sanctions down the line, is a curveball and a potential spanner in the works for them. They have had to navigate this sort of situation before in 2020 when they were banned from European competition by UEFA for 2 seasons. They sort of went into that summer with that hanging over them. Obviously, that was subsequently overturned by the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and they were able to sign Ruben Diaz, Nathan Ake, and Ferran Torres. I think for some players, it might not be an issue. Certainly where someone like Bellingham is concerned, whose whole entire future and next decision has been very, very carefully mapped out by both him and his family, much like Erling Haaland's family did. Things like this will be, I know, an area of concern, and I think some players might put the foot on the ball. City, from my understanding, are pressing ahead as normal. They're convinced that they will be cleared in this. And also, there isn't a timescale as such yet. I mean, it could be a year, 18 months before this process is actually sort of dealt with and the summer's not there. But it's not an issue as such for this summer. But certainly heading in the coming months, it's a major distraction they could have done without.
Yeah, I feel like looking in, I think everyone looking in from the outside in the Premier League. I mean, Sky were reporting yesterday about how the other Premier League teams would want City punishing if found guilty. I think it's all like James said there. I think it's a timescale thing now. How long will this carry on? Will City be able to carry on as normal while all this is being battled out? Obviously, they've brought in David Panic now, the head lawyer who's going to be battling for City again in this process, like he was when he was up against UEFA. So City are throwing everything at this, as well as the Premier League. It's two big juggernauts coming together, and how this is sorted out and how it will end up being sorted out is still unknown. I think what's interesting is how long, like James said, this goes on for, and how City can then carry on as they see in their eyes as normal. What will the players coming into the football club that City want to target think about this? Will clauses be after negotiated in if anything does go wrong and sanctions do get brought to City? It's a difficult situation, but the biggest thing I think is how long it goes on for now, and everyone will be looking in, especially other Premier League competitors, as to what the Premier League get from this, how City are punished if they are found guilty.
One of the punishments that have been talked about, James, is expulsion from the Premier League, and people are saying, imagine Manchester City in the Championship. But there's no guarantee that they'd be accepted into the EFL either. So where do the EFL stand on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting. Sort of the words expulsion and relegation are being used sort of interchangeably. It's not. There's actually no provision in the Premier League rules for a commission to actually relegate a club. Expulsion is a different matter. Obviously, that's the ultimate sanction that is available to them. If they were expelled, though, that doesn't mean that you're automatically relegated to the Championship. There's no obligation in the EFL's rules to accept a club under such circumstances. Actually, the sources I've been speaking to point to actually another gap in the football governance here. That is something that, obviously, while highly unlikely and obviously quite a unique situation, still needs to be covered off. So where if the worst case scenario is met, City would end up. It's not that clear. The EFL are only allowed 72 clubs, and there would have to either be a change in regulations or some very, very serious discussions to see how that could work.